female soldier suddenly discovers in panic that a large number of paratroopers are falling from the sky. She originally thought it was just a military exercise. However, as those paratroopers got closer and closer, the female soldier immediately felt an ominous premonition. Seeing that the other side was not even wearing their own country's uniforms, it was clear that things were not as simple as they looked. So the two quickly got up and ran toward their teammates. However, since the entire squad was made up of brand new recruits, facing this kind of sudden situation for the first time, they were all completely unsure of what to do. The squad leader originally wanted to contact headquarters for information, but there was no signal at that moment, and even worse, the radio was still at the camp 1 kilometer away. At this moment, a recruit ignored the objections of his teammates, and decided to go forward and ask what was going on. However, it was this decision that would soon cost him his life. The man had just tried to question the other side, but the other side raised their gun, and ordered him to get down on the ground. After realizing something was wrong, the man immediately turned around and tried to escape. This sudden gunfire instantly threw everyone into chaos. They quickly ran deeper into the forest. Even though they could hear teammates constantly calling for help, not a single person dared to go back for rescue, because at that moment their guns were still loaded with training blank rounds, so they could only hide for now and look for an opportunity. Fortunately, the forest terrain was complex. The squad was not attacked again. However, when they returned to the base, they found it had already been occupied by enemy forces. The teammates left behind had all become prisoners. At this point, without any ammunition, they did not dare to make any rash moves. They could only hope that the nearby armory had not yet been occupied. Then, under the cover of the forest, the squad quietly moved out again. Soon they arrived at the armory. Luckily, it had not yet been discovered by the enemy. This immediately gave everyone a sense of hope. After quickly replenishing a sufficient amount of ammunition, they once again picked up the radio to call for help. But there was still no signal at all. It was clear the enemy had made thorough preparations this time. Helpless, they could only walk on foot toward the town to seek help. At the same time, the captain who came to inspect recruit training also encountered an unexpected situation. He discovered the entire communication system had completely shut down. Gunfire was still constantly coming from the forest. However, the sharp captain quickly picked out several different types of gunfire. It was obvious this was not the sound of that recruit unit training. Then, based on years of combat experience, the captain judged that the recruit squad was very likely under enemy attack. To verify his suspicion, the captain took his weapon and planned to return to the training camp to check the situation, while the others stayed behind to establish a temporary base. However, because the captain was driving too fast, a large amount of dust was kicked up along the way. Soon the captain was intercepted by 3 masked soldiers. When he saw they were already prepared to open fire, the captain immediately shifted into reverse and drove away. But the enemy firepower was too strong, so much so that the captain could not clearly see the road behind him, and accidentally drove the car straight into a ditch. Fortunately, the captain reacted quickly. He immediately took heavy weapons from the vehicle, then